Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and in this video, I want to break down some of the top prospects that the New York Jets could be targeting in the first round in this upcoming NFL draft. As we know, the Jets have the 4th pick and the 10th pick, so the Jets will be having a lot of fun leading all the way up until the draft. The New York Jets will be coaching the Senior Bowl, so they have some of these prospects that they'll be able to be up close and personal with. And yeah, there's a lot of speculation surrounding a lot of these prospects. I know a lot of Jets fans are divided on some prospects, so I'm going to get into it. I got a list of 15 guys that the Jets could be targeting. They're not in any list from, they're not in any order from 1 to 15. I just compiled the list, and I want to talk about each prospect and what the Jets could be interested in, if they fit the scheme, if the Robert Saleh and LaFleur and Ulbrich and the coaching staff, can they implement them into their systems right away? Because guys, there's going to be a lot of stuff leading up into the draft. We don't know what's going to happen in free agency or the trade market, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. So guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm very close to hitting 10,000 subscribers, so if you guys are not subscribed, I post a lot of Jets content here on Jets Media, all about the NFL draft, all about free agency, all about the New York Jets. So please make sure you smash that subscribe button if you are indeed new. And don't forget to like the video if you guys enjoyed. And if you want to see more NFL draft content, let me know down below in the comments. So let's get right into the video. So we're going to start off with the best prospects in the draft. And we know that the Jets have the 4th pick, so I don't really know if the Jets are going to be able to get these players. But hey, you never know who's going to fall, and you never know if the Jets want to trade up. So first we're going to talk about Aidan Hutchinson, the edge rusher from Michigan. So obviously, it's a long shot that the Jets are able to get Aidan Hutchinson at number 4. I think the only way the Jets really get him is if they trade up. I don't know if the Jets are going to do that. I really don't think Joe Douglas and the Jets are going to move up in this draft unless they really fall in love with a guy in Hutchinson and they feel like he's going to transform this Jets defense. I know a lot of Jets fans throughout the season was falling in love with Hutchinson. At the time, we had the 2nd pick, and we didn't know we were going to win another game, and we thought we were going to get a top 2 pick, so we were all falling in love with Aidan Hutchinson. The vision of him next to Karlaftis on both edges, it's there, but I don't think Aidan Hutchinson's going to fall to 4. The only way that happens is obviously if Thibodeax goes, Hamilton goes, or Neal goes ahead of us, and then if somebody trades up into the top 3 and drafts a quarterback. Very unlikely that Hutchinson gets in there, but we all know what he brings to the table. I personally think he's the best player in the draft. I think he has everything you want in a prototypical edge rusher in terms of at the top of the draft. He has bend, he has athleticism, he has power, he has finesse moves. He can just get to the quarterback with ease. Now let's get into the next draft prospect I want to talk about, and that's Kayvon Thibodeax. So this is just another player that a lot of Jets fans fell in love with, but it's probably unlikely the Jets are going to be able to get him at number 4, similarly to Aidan Hutchinson. The only way the Jets get Thibodeax, in my opinion, is if they trade up for him, or somehow a team moves up ahead of the Jets in the draft and drafts a quarterback, and we might be able to get either Thibodeax or Hutchinson, because we don't know who's going to draft who in the first 3 picks, obviously. But Thibodeax is a very interesting player because he has elite pass rush potential, similarly to Hutchinson as well, but his play style is just a little different. I feel like he's going to complement Karlaftis so well on opposite edges if he is on the Jets. But again, I don't expect Thibodeax or Hutchinson to be on the Jets this year. I don't think they're going to fall to 4, but we've seen crazier things happen in this draft. So I had to start off the video with these 2 top prospects because if they are available at number 4, if one of Hutchinson or Thibodeax is available at number 4, I think it's a no-brainer, and the Jets got to draft one of these guys for sure. And that's why I had to bring them up to start off the video, even though it's very unlikely that they will be a New York Jet come this draft. Now let's get into the most polarizing player on Jets Twitter, the most divisive player in terms of how many Jets fans want him, how many Jets fans don't want him, and that's safety Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. So I know what's going on Jets Twitter right now. We got half of you guys saying that he would transform the defense, he's a ball hawk, he's a generational talent, and the other half is like, I don't want to draft the safety at number 4. I understand he's great, but we have PTSD from Jamal Adams. And then the other people are like, you can't compare him to Jamal Adams. He's a completely different player, which is right. So my take on Kyle Hamilton is, yes, he would absolutely transform this defense. We lack a ball hawk in the secondary. We lack somebody that can rip the ball out of the air and cause turnovers. He's a versatile beast that can do pretty much everything. Play high safety, line up in the box, play man-to-man against tight ends, which is something we really are lacking of. He's great in zone. He's great at blitzing. He pretty much is a prototypical beast, and I think that he would provide a huge impact to this defense. But I'm sorry to the Kyle Hamilton stands. I'm not on board with drafting Hamilton at number 4. I personally just do not think that you want to draft a safety at number 4. I don't think the value lines up, especially where the Jets are at right now. I feel like the New York Jets are going to really make sure that they look at the line of scrimmage as the focal point of this draft. I think that we're going edge or offensive line at that 4th pick. Me personally, I just don't think that the Jets are in any position to draft a playmaker this early in the draft without the trenches being, big time. I feel like the Jets, hopefully in the future drafts, we can, draft a playmaker early or draft a wide receiver early like that. But right now where the Jets are at, I just don't see it happening. But at the same time, if they do draft Kyle Hamilton, I will not be that upset because I understand how great of a prospect he is, and he has everything you want in a defense, and he also will fill a huge glaring need for this Jets secondary. So I hear you guys. I hear all the Jets fans that want Kyle Hamilton at number 4. I understand you're falling in love with him. His film is phenomenal. He's generational talent, but I just personally don't think drafting a safety at number 4, where the New York Jets are at right now, makes a lot of sense. And now getting into the next player I want to talk about, that's Evan Neal, offensive lineman from Alabama. This is a player that I'm very high on. I know this is another player that a lot of Jets fans are divided on. Some people don't think we need to draft an offensive lineman at number 4. Some people don't. I do. I definitely do. If he's available at number 4 and say Hutchinson is gone, Thibodeax is gone, I would draft Evan Neal at number 4 simply because of his versatility. He's played right guard. He's played right tackle. He's played left tackle. He's a dominant force. And I feel like, Joe Douglas is going to build this offensive line through the draft. And as we know, we have Mekhi Becton in the first round, Elijah Vera-Tucker in the past round, and I would not be shocked if Joe Douglas drafts another offensive lineman in this year's draft. I know that Mekhi Becton, I personally feel like he's the franchise left tackle. I know some people are, have their worries with him. I understand. He has a lot of durability issues. He's not been able to be on the field. But there's no denying, in my opinion, that Mekhi Becton, when he's healthy, he's a dominant force. His potential through the roof. So I feel like what Evan Neal would do, George Fant had a phenomenal season with us, but I don't really see him as the long-term answer at the tackle spot. So if we do draft Evan Neal, say you plug him at that right guard spot, Mekhi Becton at left tackle, George Fant at right tackle, and then, Elijah Vera-Tucker at left guard and Connor Montgomery at center. That's a mean offensive line. And then say Fant walks in free agency next year, Neal can bump out to right tackle, and that could be your bookend tackles for the future. Or say, unfortunately, in a hypothetical scenario, Mekhi Becton gets banged up again and he's injured a lot, then you have the luxury of having Neal to slide in that left tackle, because this offensive line needs to have depth. They need to have versatility, and I feel like Joe Douglas will fall in love with Evan Neal. So I'm very high on Evan Neal as a prospect for sure. He's 6'7", 350 pounds. I feel like he would just be an absolute monster to add it to this team. The next player I want to talk about is George Karlaftis, the edge rusher out of Purdue. This is another player that's polarizing on Jets Twitter, and hey, what player is not going to be divisive? Because we're all going to have our own opinions. And guys, if you disagree with anything I'm saying or agree with it, that's totally okay. That's what this video is all about. So please feel free to comment down below your opinion on all these players. So George Karlaftis, I personally am high on him, but my problem is I don't know if I want to draft him at number 4. I feel like if the Jets want to draft a George Karlaftis, I'd rather potentially trade back from 4, maybe to like 7 or 8, and then take him there. I just don't feel like he's worth a top 5 pick. But at the same time, the prospect, as he is, his potential's through the roof. He's a bull rusher, a guy that has powerful edge rusher skills. And I feel like he would complement Carl Lawson beautifully. I feel like Carl Lawson's more of a finesse around the edge, speedy guy, while George Karlaftis will just absolutely manhandle a tackle and take you inside and do a spin move. And I feel like he's a guy that can come in here. I know that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh value the line of scrimmage, so there's no doubt in my mind. Put a lot of work into a guy in George Karlaftis. So let me know your thoughts about him and all these other draft prospects down below in the comments, of course. Now, the next guy I want to talk about is Nakobe Dean, linebacker from Georgia. He is a guy that I'm extremely high on, to be honest. I feel like he possesses a lot of elite potential at the linebacker position. The speed, going sideline to sideline, his leadership ability, his mentality, everything about him just screams a Robert Saleh style linebacker. And just envisioning him next to CJ Mosley as a linebacker tandem next year just gets me giddy. I feel like the linebacker position is a big time need for the New York Jets. I love what Quincy Williams did. I love what CJ Mosley did, but I really want Robert Saleh to get his own blue chip linebacker prospect in this draft. Whether it's in the first round or second round, it has to be done, and I'm really excited to see if Nakobe Dean becomes a Jet. I don't know if the Jets are going to draft him. I feel like we'd have to trade back a little bit. I don't know if he's going to be a top 10 pick, but obviously we're not drafting Nakobe Dean at number 4. If anything, he'll be at the 10th pick, or if we trade back. So, and a reminder, guys, this video is not ranking these prospects. This is not my ranking of the top 15 guys. I'm just talking about all the prospects, and no particular order. Then the next guy I want to talk about is Tyler Linderbaum, the center from Iowa. Now, I am personally so high on Linderbaum. I feel like this would be a big-time move for the Jets. Bring him in at number 10 and just solidify that offensive line for sure. Now, listen, I know some Jets fans don't really think we need a center because Connor McGovern had a really good season last year, and I feel like he proved to be the center for the future. But at the same time, he got injured at the end of the season. He is a veteran. He's not going to get better. He's only going to be, the same, or maybe he does get better. Who knows? But Tyler Linderbaum, I just feel like knowing Joe Douglas, and say we don't go offensive line with that 4th pick, say we get an edge rusher, or say we do something else, and we haven't drafted an offensive line, we're at number 10, and Tyler Linderbaum is available, it's hard for me to think that Joe Douglas is going to pass on this guy. He's the best interior offensive lineman in the draft. He is a generational center. There's a lot of draft people that are saying that this is the best center to come out of college in a long time. So imagine pairing him up with Elijah Vera-Tucker and Mekhi Becton, and that is the future of this offensive line. He's a menace in the run game. His mentality is great, and I just feel like his connection with Zach Wilson could just be that center and quarterback duo for the future. And I'm so high on Tyler Linderbaum. I am all on the hype train of drafting him at number 10. Now, getting into the next player, and then the first time we're talking about this position, that's Garrett Wilson, wide receiver from Ohio State. Now, this is a player that I feel like is going to come in here if we draft him and be a versatile nightmare. He's going to be a route runner, the guy that just creates separation all over the place. Garrett Wilson is a player that I'm really high on. I really feel like he would be a big-time piece to this Jets offense. The Jets got to be in on wide receivers in this draft. We have to be able to draft the wide receiver at number 10 or in the second round for sure if we're not going to go out there and trade for a receiver or sign a big-time receiver. We have a glaring hole at the wide receiver spot. I love Elijah Moore. I love Corey Davis. Hopefully we'll re-sign Braxton Berrios, but we need another big-time threat at that wide receiver spot. And Garrett Wilson is a player that I'm really high on for sure, that the Jets definitely got to do some homework on, in my opinion. Now, the next guy I want to talk about, and this is someone I've been falling in love with more and more and more as I do more homework on him, and that's Sauce Gardner, the cornerback from Cincinnati. This is a player that if the Jets get him at number 10, I'd be giddy. I'd be very excited because he just looks like the perfect fit to this Jets defense, because not only is he extremely long and lanky and athletic, and not only is he a phenomenal guy in terms of coverage, he has not given up a touchdown. He has allowed 20 catches on 40 targets for 131 yards in 14 games. He's a lockdown cornerback 1 potential, but he's also a beast in terms of blitzing the quarterback. He's also a beast at tackling. He's versatile. He's not just a guy that's just going to be camping out there and being a ball hawk and being a lockdown corner. He can get his nose dirty. He can make really good open field tackles, and I am on the Sauce Gardner train for sure. If the Jets want to go out there and get a playmaker at number 10 and add a guy to that secondary early in the draft, Sauce Gardner is the man. I'm definitely falling in love with him more and more as I do homework on him. Now, the next guy I want to talk about, which is the same position, that's Derek Stingley Jr., the cornerback out of LSU. This is a very interesting player because I feel like he'd be going in like the top 5 if it wasn't for his injury concerns. I think that's the only reason why he's falling in the draft. But hey, there's no denying that this was supposed to be the CB number 1 in this draft class before all of his injury concerns. He has everything you want in a cornerback number 1 coming out of college. His man-to-man coverage is absolutely elite. His scheme divisive. He's very versatile, so I feel like he's somebody that can be, he's very coachable. He's one of those players that I feel like he has that instinctual ability to be a leader on this team. He's coming from LSU. We all know what they breed out of there in terms of the secondary. So if the Jets want to take a flyer on Stingley, if he falls to number 10, if they feel like his physical checks out and the injuries are not too much concern, maybe we draft him at number 10. I just don't really like the Jets drafting somebody with injury concerns because we know that the Jets have a lot of injury history. So I love Stingley as a prospect. I love what he's done at LSU for all those years, but I don't know if it's going to be smart to draft a guy that's been battling injuries. But I definitely love him as a prospect. Now, getting into another player at the wide receiver spot, that's Treylon Burks, the wide receiver out of Arkansas. He's a 6'3", 225 monster. He has big hands. He's versatile. He can go up there, grab the 50-50 ball. He has yak ability, and I feel like he's another player that if the Jets want to get a wide receiver, he should be high on their list. I don't know if he's worth that 10th overall pick. Maybe the Jets trade back from 10. You guys saw my video I made yesterday about the Jets potentially moving back at number 10, and maybe we move back to like 15 or 16 or 17 and we acquire more capital and Treylon Burks is available. I'd be all in on Treylon Burks. I feel like he's a player that fits this system perfectly. We're lacking a true X receiver, and I feel like him next to Corey Davis and Elijah Moore, that would be the top 3 wide receivers for Zach Wilson for the future. And the next player is another cornerback. That's Andrew Booth, cornerback from Clemson. This is a player that I'm really high on as well. He has 5 interceptions on 81 targets. He's a great ball skill. He has great ball skills, and he's also a ferocious tackler. His tackle for loss rate is through the roof. He's not shy of getting his nose dirty, of course, and I feel like he has to be on the Jets' homework, because we all know we have a big-time need at a lot of positions, and there's going to be a lot of things that the Jets need to do leading up into the draft. And I feel like Andrew Booth is a player that if the Jets want to trade back from 10, he's a target, or maybe they fall in love with him and they draft him at number 10 and say Sauce goes before him and they love him. You never know. Now, another player I want to talk about, which is really awesome because the Jets are actually coaching this player at the Senior Bowl, that's Devin Lloyd, linebacker from Utah. So this is the most complete linebacker in the draft. I feel like, Nakobe Dean is more that speedy, sideline to sideline, freakishly athletic. Devin Lloyd is not that athletic, but he has the smarts. He's really balanced. He can do pretty much everything you want from an inside linebacker position. And I feel like I had to bring him up because if the Jets fall in love with him in the Senior Bowl, you never know. They might draft him. They might draft him at number 10. They might move back and draft him. You never know what they might do. But he's definitely someone that I'm high on because we definitely need to draft a linebacker for sure in the first round. Or I'm not gonna say we need to draft a linebacker for sure in the first round, but we need to draft a linebacker early in the draft. That's what I meant. And then the second to last player I want to talk about is Drake London, the wide receiver from USC. This is a 6'5" giant possession style wide receiver. My thoughts about him, I don't know if he fits the system for the New York Jets. I feel like Mike LaFleur likes that route runner ability, the guy that can create separation. So I don't know if Drake London is a guy that the Jets will be interested in. I know a lot of Jets fans are falling in love with Drake London as a prospect. I'm not too high on him. He's a freak. I mean, if you look at his tape, he just goes up there, grabs all the passes at the high point, and I feel like he would be the quarterback's best friend. I would not be upset if the Jets draft him, but I'm not too sure if the Jets are going to target a guy in Drake London. And then the last player I want to talk about is Jameson Williams, a wide receiver from Alabama. Now, this is unfortunate because he was probably the player that I was the most high on, drafting at number 10 until he tore his ACL in the Natty Championship, obviously. If he didn't tore his ACL, he'd probably be like one of my favorite players to come out of this draft in terms of the Jets need to draft him. He possesses everything you want in a wide receiver: his route running, his hands, his separation ability, his mentality, his speed, his deep threat. Everything about Jameson Williams is absolutely phenomenal, but the fact that he tore his ACL, I don't think the Jets are going to want to draft someone that's not going to be able to play in the beginning part of his rookie season unless they feel like that, the ACL is all intact and they feel like his recovery's on time. Maybe the Jets do want to go out there and draft Jameson Williams, but I just don't feel like that's going to be a big-time smart move. It pains me to say that. I want Jameson Williams more than anybody else, but yeah, that's my thoughts about him. So guys, that's the 15 draft prospects that I came up with that the Jets will be targeting the first round. Again, these are not in any particular order. I just want to bring up 15 draft prospects that I feel like the Jets will be targeting. And there's probably some prospects that I didn't even mention because there's so many guys in the first round that the Jets will be doing their homework on, that the Jets will be potentially looking at drafting at number 4, number 10. You never know what they can do. They can trade back. They can move up. There's so many things the Jets going to do. Leave a comment down below of your favorite draft prospects for the Jets at that number 4, number 10 spot in the first round. I love to hear what you guys have to say. Appreciate it. All the support on Jets Media. If you guys stayed to the end of the video, comment down below a Jet emoji because I know this is a longer video than usual, so I appreciate you guys staying until the end of the video. And don't forget to like the video if you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more NFL draft content like this, please make sure you smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe for your boy as well. I'll catch you guys in my next video, and let's go Jets. Peace.